guys, welcome back to my channel. If you haven't already, like, comment, subscribe. Don't come for me in the comments because yes, I'm recording in my bathroom right now. I just share a room, so I rather do it in a place where I'm like not being watched and don't feel like uncomfortable. Even though I share it with my brother, I just rather have like my own little space to like record and whatnot. So yeah, today's video I wanted to talk a little bit more about my own paranormal experiences and just take you guys through like my experiences and whatnot. I do have sage being lit as this is going on, so in case you guys see any smoke and whatnot, that's not anything like spooky or nothing, it's just my sage. So to begin this whole thing, I guess to begin my storytelling, I wanted to start with like the first experience that I kind of I remember like certain parts of it. So I'll start by giving you guys like a little background story. So my great grandma lived until I was about the age of 4. And the reason why I know this is because I don't remember like what she looked like at all, like in person, obviously because I was so young. But my mom herself told me like she passed when I was 4, which is, she lived a long life, which is amazing. But yeah, she passed away when I was 4. And when she passed away, I told my mom, well, I guess I was coloring one day, and I was coloring and drawing a lady, and I guess I was putting in some 4-year-old detail on this person, and I colored in that she had very long like red nails, and I guess my mom just stopped and asked me like what I was drawing, because it kind of reminded her of her, her mom. Well, not her mom, but her grandma. She calls her mom. But yeah, so she stopped and she asked me like who I was drawing or who I was coloring, and I told her that my great grandma had told me that she loved me and that she loved my mom and that she was always watching over us and protecting us, and that's what my 4-year-old self told her. Now, like, I don't remember this conversation between me, my mom, or my great-grandma. Like, I don't remember seeing her at all. The only thing I do remember from this experience, really, was a dream that I had about her. And basically what the dream just consisted of was, I guess, when she was at the hospital, I'm guessing right before she passed. I do still remember that dream vividly, which is just literally it was just a picture, like a solid image of just her in her hospital bed, at the hospital, I guess she passed in. And that's just the only image I can remember, and I could still vividly, remember that picture. And yeah, so I guess according to my mom, it wasn't spooky to her that my great grandma like did come to me and talk to me or whatever, visited me. She said she wasn't scared about that part like at all, because she knew it was her, like, which I think is kind of weird. But yeah, I guess she wasn't spooked by it at all, and that my great grandma was known to always, like, I guess she always had her nails done and always had them long and painted, and then right before she passed, she did have like red long nails. So like the person I drew was a pretty accurate 4-year-old description of like my great grandma. So I guess that was like my first experience. According to like my mom, I don't know, might have had some before that, I don't know. My mom did tell me I used to always have like imaginary friends, but I think every 4-year-old does, so I didn't really consider that much. But yeah, so that was, I think, my first experience, and that my mom told me about. And that I could also remember vividly, like the dream aspect of it. And then after that, well, I guess maybe before that, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, one of like a close family friend was supposed to be my godfather, and like right before I was born, I don't know if it was that same month or like a couple weeks or maybe even a couple days before I was actually born, that he unfortunately passed away in very like unfortunate circumstances. And yeah, so he had passed, and once I think I was able to talk, obviously, I would tell like my mom, like I would be talking to this person, and I would always like, I don't know why I just laughed, but it's just thinking about it in my head is just like, imagine having a kid who tells you these things. Like it's crazy. But anyway, like I guess I would casually tell my mom, like I would be speaking to this person, that person that was supposed to be my godfather, and I would like describe him to her, and say his name, like, oh yeah, so and so says hi. And like my mom, like, even though she was spooked because I was a weird kid, I don't think she ever said that she was scared, like when it came to like family members visiting and whatnot. I think she was more scared about just me being able to communicate with them, like in general. She was just like, I want to take her to church type thing and get her baptized and get her sanctified. But yeah, so that was like my actual first experience, and then the thing with my great grandma happened when I was 4. And then after that, skipping to later on, a loved one that passed away. I know I was 17 going on 18, and I don't really want to get into much detail into this because it's like very personal to me. But when they did pass, like I remember like I would like take, be a normal 17-year-old and be taking selfies in my room, and like shortly after they passed, not even, I would say maybe about a week, like I started seeing these not super bright lights, but like there would be like a misty, clearish, like not clearish, but whitish, misty forms around me, and it would always be like directly above my head, or just like in a mist like form around me somewhere. And the first time I noticed it, I didn't really notice it right away because like I said, it's not a very like it wasn't a very solid color, like a very like in your face type thing. It was just more like a white misty like outline, and you really kind of had to either zoom in the picture or like completely change the picture's colors so that you could see like the contrast. And yeah, so I started seeing that around my pictures, and at first I didn't know what to make of it, and then like in comparison with like some photos that I had, like I knew who it was. I never had anything, like I never had that spirit of that person like do anything to me, like touch me, or I never heard my voice being called or anything like that. It was literally just like that mist always there and that outline always there around me. And then I even like, me being me, wanted to like just like rationalize it in a way. So like I remember asking my brother like to go into my room and take a picture and see if like that mist would show up or that form would show up, and it would still be in my room, but it wouldn't be like a form like would come out in my pictures. It would be more like a mist, like more like just a blob, when on my pictures it would be more like a form, like you could clearly see like an outline of the person or like the head of the person. And yeah, so I know who it was, but as mentioned, like it's very personal to me, so I would never like get into more detail. Like it's just very personal to me. So there was that experience, and then let's see, and then I believe like the next experience I had, I went to my uncle's house with my cousin, and me and my cousin Issa were like pretty like far apart in age, I want to say, but we would always go to my uncle's house during the summer just to like hang out, whatever. And I remember like we went one time. It was shortly after like one of her family members passed away, and we're like technically we're half cousins, but we don't see each other as that because we were raised together. So like her family, like her dad's side of the family, like my uncle's side of the family, like that's not like they're not related to me. So long story short, one of her family members passed away, and we had just gone to my uncle's house, and so we were like talking and I think playing a game. Like we would always play Uno, and so we were doing our own thing in like a separate room, and we were there with our younger cousin who's like 4. His name is James, and we were just like babysitting him and then just, you know, talking, playing games, doing our thing. And so as we were doing that, like we heard the sink, you know, start running. And the way that their house is set up, like they live in an apartment, so, and then there's one room, and that room's wall makes up the bathroom that's in between the next room, if that makes sense. So we heard the water running, and you could hear through the wall because the walls are thin. And so we go, you know, we scope it out. We're like, James, like, don't leave the water running, you know, type thing. And we just turn off the water. And James this whole time is like hooked onto this video game. So he's like, yeah, okay, whatever, you know. And we continue doing what we're doing, and it goes off again. You know, like we hear the water running again in the sink. And then like I was like, you know, mid-sentence talking again, and I'm like, is that the water running again? You know, so then I get up, and then like we tell James, we're like, hey, like, you know, are you using the restroom? Like you keep leaving the water on. And he's like, I haven't even gone to the bathroom. But you know, this entire time he's glued to this freaking video game. So he's just telling us while he's playing game. So I'm like, okay, like this kid hasn't moved one bit, you know, from this one spot. So I believe him. And so we go back into the room. We close the door. Like each time we did this, we had to close the door. And then we heard the water running again. So then like I got up, and each time that I went, I like noticed, I think like the third time that I went up to like go turn it off, I noticed that the handle, because they had like faucet handles on their sinks, like it's not the regular knob handles that you just twist it. They had like the ones that come out, and you have to actually force it to like go towards you to turn the water on. So they had one of those, and each time that I went to go turn it off, that handle was pulled inward. And yeah, so it got really freaky. We were like really spooked out, and I was telling my cousin, I was like, yo, like the handle was like pulled, you know, like it's purposely like out. And so it literally like same thing kept happening. Like we kept going back into the room, and it kept turning back on. And I think there was even a point where like the door was cracked open a little bit, and we heard it go on. And yeah, it just got really spooky. And I think after like the 5th time, we were like, okay, no, like this is like getting too extreme. So we called our uncle, who's very like skeptical about these things. And he just told us like, oh, maybe, you know, like something wrong with the pipes, like maybe like the water pressure's off or something like that, you know. And we're like, no, like each time we go in, like the faucet's handle was, you know, moved. And we just basically begged him to come home, because we were like super freaked out by that point. Like talking about it is one thing, but actually experiencing these things sometimes is like very different. So we just like told him to come home, and so he said okay, and like was on his way home, just to like calm us down, you know. And so while he was on his way home, we're like, okay, like let's go wait on the patio, because they have a little patio. Like let's go wait on the patio, meanwhile he gets home, you know, because we didn't want to be in the house. So then we start getting ready to go out on the patio. So me, my cousin, and my younger cousin go to the patio. So then at some point, like, it starts getting a little chilly, and my other cousin, like, Issa, which is like my girl cousin, she goes to back into the house to grab James a jacket. So as she's going to grab him his jacket, she notices, I guess, then this entire time that this whole thing like has been happening with the faucet running like by itself, like the door was wide open, like it wasn't open a crack, it wasn't half open, nothing, like it was wide open. And so when she went back to get the jacket for James, she noticed that the door was closed all the way, like it was fully shut. And she was like, oh my god, like look what happened, like the door completely closed. And I was already outside, so I was like, bro, just get his jacket and come outside, because I'm not going back in there. But I did see that it was closed, because I did get up and I looked through the door, and I was like, yeah, no, that's some paranormal activity things, and we just not doing it. We're not doing it. So then she went and grabbed his jacket, came back outside, and then I don't know if she went back in a second time or how she's seen that the door reopened, but it did reopen. And then I think by that time, like not even a couple minutes later, my uncle walked in, and he seen us outside and like told us to come inside, whatever. And then we explained everything that was like had happened, you know, and the water situation completely stopped. Like it didn't happen at all once he got home. So we just looked like completely delusional. And for somebody who's already skeptical, like he was just like, okay, you guys didn't see nothing, like type thing. And so sorry, my throat's dry. But yeah, so he was like, okay, like yeah, it had to be like some water pressure or some water issues, some pipe issues type thing. And yeah, so once he got home, it completely stopped, and I just looked up a random blessing on YouTube, and I blessed his house, because I was like, I don't know what you did in here, bro, but you got some. I was gonna say it, but I don't want to put that type of energy in my house, you know. I was like, you got some paranormal activity things going on here, like it's crazy, it's wild. So yeah, I played a blessing for him, and I blessed his house. So that was that. And nothing ever happened to us in that house again. Like he moved shortly afterwards to a different room too, so you know, hasta la vista. So yeah, that was that. Now moving even more forward, we didn't always live in this apartment number. Prior to this, we used to live in one like across the street from us, and I never experienced anything in that house, but it's just like a little background story. So anyway, we moved to this one about like, I want to say a year or two ago, maybe 2 years. I think it's been 2 years now. And honestly, I never had no like, sorry, I'm trying to turn off this stage. I never had any like bad vibes or bad energy. Like we always sage our house. We meaning me and my dad. But we always sage the house, and I don't think any one of my family members like has bad energy in this house, you know, to bring up any bad energy or any bad, you know, whatever the case may be. So yeah, we always stage this house, and I never got any bad vibes from it, but I have had some experiences here, and yeah, so I'm gonna get into that right now. So get your tea. So one night, it was me and my brother. As you guys know, me and my brother share a room. So we were just doing our thing, watching Netflix on our beds, whatever. It's already like 11 p.m., 12 a.m.-ish, you know. And FYI, just a little side note, everybody in my family goes to sleep really early. My mom goes to sleep by at least 7 p.m. because she wakes up at 2 to 3 in the morning and goes to work. So she goes to sleep by like 7 p.m. My siblings go to sleep by like 10 the latest because they have school. And regardless of school or not, they go to their bedtime is 10 p.m. They don't stay awake past that time. And then my dad, he sleeps in the living room, but he goes to sleep by like 9 p.m. because of his work and because he just wakes up early for no reason. So he goes to bed by 9 p.m. And they have that routine, and that hasn't changed, school or not. They're knocked out by like 10 p.m. latest. So that leaves me and my brother. And if we don't have school, we can be up pretty late. So as mentioned, we were up like 11, close to 12 a.m. And we hear somebody knock on our door, on our bedroom door at this time. And we're like, okay, it could only be our dad, you know? So in our house, we have privacy, but at the same time, we don't. Because like, if somebody knocks on our door, they wait about like 2 seconds and then they help themselves in, you know? They let themselves in. So they knocked on our door, and you know, us being us, we just said, okay, come in, you know? We're both watching Netflix, like, okay, come in. So then we wait. Nobody like opens the door, and we're like, okay, neither one of us wanted to get up. Obviously, we were just being lazy. So we both continue to do what we're doing. And then a second knock happens, but it's much louder this time. And we're like, okay, like who the heck is knocking on our door right now? You know, like we already said to come in, and they still didn't, you know, they don't come. So then my brother gets up and he opens the door, and it's a pitch black hallway, nobody in sight. You know, and if it was, you know, we have those skeptical people, so if it was my siblings or anything, I would have heard the door close after they tried to like scare us type thing, if that's what you're thinking. My dad sound asleep on the couch, because my brother went and looked to see like what my dad was doing, and he was asleep on the couch. So yeah, and then like my brother immediately closed the door after he seen it was my dad or anybody else. He closed the door and like was like, I looked up at him for confirmation that actually just happened to the both of us, and we both witnessed it. And he just, you know, he's the type of person to like experience things and just completely ignore it, because that's how he deals with it. So he just right away was like, I'm going to sleep, I'm going to bed, I didn't see nothing happened, and he just went to bed. But that was really spooky. That was a really spooky experience. I've never experienced anything like that before in my life. It was pretty crazy. And like I said, there was never any bad energy in my house. I never felt like any type of way. Like I've always felt really good in my house. I've always felt like I needed to actually be in my house sometimes, you know, for like peaceful, you know, just to regain my peace type thing. But yeah, so that happened. And then there was one time my brother was gone, because he also goes to my uncle's a lot. We live pretty close to them, so yeah, so he was gone that night, and I fell asleep with my arm across my chest like this. Really awkward way to fall asleep, but I did. Don't know how, don't know why. And yeah, I fell asleep, and I was like in a really deep sleep, really good sleep, and something like bumped my arm up, like pushed it up. It pushed it up with enough force to wake me up, obviously, from my sleep. So I immediately like got up and looked around to see like what caused it. Immediately was looking, you know, to rationalize it, and my brother wasn't home. Nothing's obviously going to be able to make it feel like a person pushing my hand up, you know, like I felt like the pressure of somebody pushing my arm up, you know. I'm like, okay, like it was really scary because it happened in the middle of the night of me sleeping. So obviously I woke up, rationalized it, or tried to rationalize it, couldn't, and then woke up, turned the light on, and just fell asleep with the light on because that was the most scariest thing ever. Now, on top of that, I actually had an experience once in this bathroom. I just want to light more sage now. So, let's do that. So, I actually had an experience in this bathroom. One time I was in the bathtub, and I had my bubble bath going and everything okay. Candles lit. I only light white candles, okay? No red candles, no nothing, okay? It was like white candles only. And my sage, and I was just having my bubble bath, And I don't know what made me look up. I don't know if I seen it out of the corner of my eye or what happened. But I look up, and my towel, which is right above like my toilet, so I'll show y'all. This towel right here, and that's my bathtub. So as you can see, I'm lower than the towel, so I had to look up, and it was moving like, how can I say this? It was moving like this, like, and I thought I was tripping, like I thought I was losing my mind, because I was watching it do that for at least, I want to say 30 seconds, 40 seconds. It wasn't longer than a minute, but I watched it do that, and I was like, so I watched it do that, and then I got up and I tried to rationalize it, because that's what our brains do. So I got up and I was like, okay, is there any wind in here? Like, is there any explanation as to why it could have just got up and floated? So then I look around and I'm trying to like rationalize it. We do have a vent at the very top, which is connected to our roof. So I'm like, okay, maybe there was some wind in here, etc., etc. I don't know. I try to rationalize all these things, but if that was the case, if it was just the wind coming from the vent, then that would have moved too, because my curtain weighs way less than my whole towel. So I was like, the curtain didn't move at all. Like, it didn't move at all. Nothing else moved. If it was because of the wind, it would have moved a lot of things, not just my towel. So then I was like, gotta go. So I got up. After I was done realizing that it wasn't the wind, I was like, yeah, nope, gotta go. I unplugged the bath and I went to my room and did my thing, and that was basically it. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about like my own experiences. If you guys want to share your own experiences in the comments, drop them down below. I would love to hear your guys' experiences. If you have any questions for me, like, you can ask me that too. Like, some things I won't get into detail with just because they're personal to me, but otherwise, like, I'll go into detail with the other stuff, but what's it called? Yeah, those were just all my experiences that I've ever had in my entire life. And I don't know, I don't think every experience is bad, obviously not, but some of them are very like scary, just because you can't see like what it is that's causing that, but yeah, I just wanted to make this video for you guys. I've been wanting to do it, I've just been wanting to do it outside my house, obviously, but I just haven't been around to doing it. So I thought this week this will be a good video to drop for you guys. I lit my sage and everything, and we're always sage in the house, so I'm not really worried about it, much. And I know we have very positive energy always going in our house, so I'm not really worried too much. I was, but now I'm not. But yeah. So I don't know. Like, comment, share if you guys enjoyed it. Next week I'll probably do some spooky stories for you guys and actually look stuff up for you guys and whatnot. So let me know if you guys have any ideas you want me to do and whatnot. So let me know, you guys. And yeah, that's it for my video this week. Don't come for me in the comments. And yeah, I'll see you guys next week. Stay blessed.